Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of my online lectures. Okay? This is the second part of a series of lectures that I will be doing about integral calculus. Okay? So if you recall the first part of this series, I discussed the fundamentals of the subject. So, kumbaga, introduction yon sa course na Integral Calculus kung saan diniscuss ko ang area problem, kung saan nagsimula at nag-originate ang development ng Integral Calculus. Aside from that, I also discussed the definite integral, no? And that definite integral is defined as the limit of a Riemann sum, no? If you recall, no? And finally, I also discussed last meeting the fundamental theorem of calculus, which bridges or links. It establishes the link between integral calculus and differential calculus. Okay? So now, this time, ang topic naman na i-discuss ko sa inyo ay mga fundamental formulas sa pag-integrate. So in this episode, I will discuss the most important integration formulas that you need to know as freshman calculus students. Okay? Now specifically, these are the fundamental indefinite integrals. And actually, eto sila ngayon. No? So kung nakikita nyo, ayan. So these are some of the fundamental formulas that you need to know, no? Not only by memorization, you should know them by heart. And para mas maging effective yung pagtatanda nyo sa mga formulas na ito so that you will know them by heart, explain ko kung paano sila nagkaganyan. Ano? So i-relate lang natin sila sa derivative, no? Mula sa derivatives, kukunan natin sila ng formula ng integrals. Okay? So, simulan na natin. Now, reviewin muna natin yung antiderivative, no? Okay, so last meeting, if you recall, the fundamental theorem of calculus, which states that, ano sabi ng fundamental theorem of calculus? Sabi niya, if, no, we have the function small letter f of x, and that small letter f of x is the derivative. So here, we see the prime notation, of course, ang in-indicate niya ng derivative. If this small letter f is the derivative of capital letter f, then according to the fundamental theorem of calculus, that letter f is what we call the antiderivative of f. Okay? Antiderivative of f. Okay. So, and we also learned last time that antiderivative is the opposite of the derivative, no? And the process of integration is the opposite or the reverse process of differentiation. Okay? So once again, ang sabi, kapag ang small letter f daw ay derivative ng malaking f, then, no? Ano naman yung f? Ano siya nung maliit na f? Di kabaliktaran, no? Kung itong f ay derivative nung malaking f, yung malaking f ay antiderivative nung maliit na f. Okay, so ngayon, what if given yung small letter f? Paano natin ngayon mahahanap yung capital letter f? Okay? So, given yung small letter, kanina kasi given yung capital letter f, dinifferentiate natin siya para makuha yung small letter f. Anong gagawin mo dito sa small letter f kung siya ang given para makuha mo ang capital letter f? Okay? So, you have to, yan, napapaisip ka ngayon, no? Kanina, mula sa capital letter f, kinuhanan mo siya ng derivative para makuha ang small letter f. So ngayon, kung small letter f yung given, paano mo makukuha ang capital letter f? You have to do the opposite process, no? And what is the opposite process of differentiation? Yung pag-integrate. That is why, if we are given the small letter f of x, we have to integrate this small letter f of x to get, no, capital letter f. And that capital letter f is what we call the antiderivative of small letter f. Okay? So, dito po sa notation na ito, sa formula na ito, may makikita tayo na symbol dito. So, this is what we call the integral sign. No? And this is the function that we want to integrate. No? This is what we call the Sulat tayo. Color. Blue na lang. No? This is what we call the integrand. No? Yan. And itong f of x plus c, no? Ano ang nire-represent niya ngayon, no? Itong f of x plus c na ito, bilugan natin dito, no? Ito naman ang tinatawag natin na antiderivative. Okay? Antiderivative. No? Now, in everyday calculus language, we do not refer to it as the antiderivative, no? And ang ginagamit natin is yung salitang integral. Actually, when we say integral, that is what we call the indefinite, no? Indefinite integral, no? So when we say the integral of something, we are referring to as the indefinite integral of something. Why? Because if the integral is definite, it will be specified. Okay? So now, ano ang kahalagahan nitong plus c dito sa f of x plus c na ito? No? So this is just an arbitrary constant. No? So ang ibig sabihin pala niyan, yung f of x plus c is hindi siya single valued. No? Why? Because this c could have any possible value that you can imagine. No? So that means that the antiderivative is not a single function. It is actually a family of functions, no? That is why this f of x plus c, the antiderivative, represents what we call a family of curves, no? It represents a family of curves. Why? Because again, this c is an arbitrary constant which could have any possible value. Okay? Now, bakit natin siya tinawag na indefinite integral? Kasi wala po tayong definite na limits. Ano? So, if we do not have definite limits in our integral, then what we will get is what we call an indefinite integral. And remember that the indefinite integral represents a family of curves. Huwag po nating kakalimutan yan. Family of curves. At kinakailangan may plus c. No? Kapag ka nagsosolve ka ng indefinite integral, no, because that plus c will indicate, no, that the integral that you obtained is an indefinite integral. Okay? Now, ano ngayon yung mga pinakamahalagang formulas, no, or pinakamahalagang indefinite integrals na dapat mong malaman, no, as a freshman student? No? Na nag-aaral ng integral calculus. Okay? So actually dun sa unang slide, pinakita ko na yung ilan sa kanila. Now, ipapaliwanag ko lang sa inyo kung paano ito nakuha, no? Para mas madali nyo silang matandaan. Okay? So again, pag tayo naman kasi ay nagme-memorize, hindi lang tayo sa ulo ng sa ulo. It's better, no? So ang pagsasaulo or ang pagme-memorize nagiging mas effective kapag ka alam mo kung saan galing yung formula na iyong kinakabisado. No? So sige, derive na natin yan. No? So, para ma-derive natin ang mga indefinite integrals na ito, magsisimula muna tayo sa alam natin. No? So far, ang alam pa lang natin is mga formulas ng derivatives. Kasi yun yung naturo sa atin at na-discover natin sa pag-aaral ng differential calculus. No? And as beginning learners, no, who are studying integral calculus, it would be much better for us to start with integrals, no, from derivatives to show the connection between them. Now, okay. So ano yung unang formula na ating i-derive? No, halimbawa, magsulat tayo dito, no. Pen. Ano ang derivative, or hindi ko na gagawing derivative, differential na lang, ha. No, di na lang. Ano ang differential ng isang halimbawa ay AX. Okay? Ano ang differential ng AX? Kung saan ang A ay isang constant at ang X of course ay isang variable, no? 'Di ba? Halimbawa, parang 3x lang 'yan. Derivative ng 3x is just 3, no? So if that's the derivative of AX, where A is a constant, that would simply be A and then multiplied by the differential of X. So anong pagkakaiba niyan? Kasi ganito yan eh. Kung derivative yan, that's d over dx of ax. No? That is just a. Pero ang ginawa ko, differentials na lang. No? Instead of putting dx below, dito ko na lang siya inilagay sa kabilang side. No? Okay. So ngayon, alam naman natin na ang integration ay reverse or opposite process of differentiation. No? So kapag dito tayo ay nag-differentiate, may makukuha tayo. So mula dito, paano ko makukuha yung or kapag ka pala in-integrate ko itong nakuha ko, dapat makukuha ko yung original. Why? Kasi nga po, integration is the opposite process of differentiation. So, again, yung left side ay ating dinifferentiate. May nakuha tayong sagot. So, yung sagot, pag in-applyan mo ng opposite process ng differentiation, which is integration, dapat ang makukuha natin yung nasa kabilang function. That is why, this is now our first formula. The integral of a dx is, of course, yung nasa kabila, ax, and then plus c, yung arbitrary constant. So, that's the first formula. Now, okay? Now, pawiin muna natin itong nandito. Ayan. Pawiin ko lang to ha. Yan. Kasi magiging consistent tayo. Instead of derivatives, differential na lang ang aking gagamitin. Okay? Now, what is the next formula? Now, ano ang derivative ng isang power function? No? What is the derivative of x raised to n? No? So, di ba kapag nagdi-differentiate tayo ng power function, no, yung exponent, ginagawa nating multiplier. So, that's n multiplied by x. Tapos, yung exponent ng x, ma-minusan mo ng 1. No? That's why that should be n minus 1. And then, minumultiplyan natin ng dx. Okay? So, ngayon, what if nag-integrate naman ako ng power function? No? Nag-integrate ako ng power function x to the n dx. Ano kaya ang makukuha kong sagot? Okay? So, this is the opposite process. Now, dito nag-differentiate ka, dito nag-integrate ka. Kaya dapat ang gagawin mo, opposite din. Now, okay? So, kung dito, nag-minus tayo sa n, no? Yung n naging n minus 1, ano ba ang opposite ng pagma-minus? E di ang gagawin natin, mag-a-add tayo. Okay? So, that will be x raised to n plus 1, no? And then, anong opposite ng pagmumultiply? No? Kung dito nagmultiply tayo, dito magdi-divide tayo. No? So, kung ano ang iyong exponent, yun din ang iyong divisor. So, n plus 1. And of course, don't forget, plus c. Okay? Pangit na siyang tingnan masyado. No? Ayusin natin. Okay? Pangit uli. Yan. So, over n plus 1 n plus 1 and then plus c. Okay. So, integration of the power, this is the integral of the power function. No? Okay. Next, ano ang derivative or differential ng sin x? No? Ayan. What is the differential of sin x? So, that will be, of course, alam nating lahat yan, that's cosine x dx. So, from that, no, kapag ka-integrate ko ito, no, dapat ang makukuha ko yung function na nasa kabila. Again, because integration is the reverse process of differentiation. So, the integral of cosine x dx must be sine of x. Of course, that's an indefinite integral. So, lalagyan natin ng plus c. Okay? So, next is, what is the derivative or the differential rather of cosine x? Ano ang differential niya? Okay? So, pag nag-differentiate tayo ng trigonometric function na nag-start sa letter C, di ba negative yung sagot? No? So, this is negative of sin x dx. So, pag nag-integrate naman ako ng sin, dapat, anong makukuha ko? Ayan. So, ang in-integrate ko dito, hindi negative. No? So, yung nandito is negative. No? But ang in-integrate ko is positive. That's why my answer should be negative. So, negative of cosine x plus, hindi na kasya. Ayan. Ano ba yan? Ulitin natin. Okay. So, pag in-integrate natin yung sin x dx, dito negative siya. No? Dito naman positive yung in-integrate natin. No? So, that is why our answer will be negative. Negative of cosine x and then plus c. Okay? So, these are just the first 4 formulas, no, that you need to memorize and know by heart. No? So, in this episode, I'll be presenting 10 formulas. So, naka-4 na tayo. No? Okay? So the integral of a constant is just the constant multiplied by the variable. Okay? And then the integral of the power function x to the n, no? So x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 and then plus c. The integral of cosine x, okay, is positive sine x. And the integral of sine x dx is negative of cosine x plus c. Okay, now let's have some more formulas, no? Okay, next, from sine and cosine, now, ano naman ang differential, of course, ng tangent x, no? Ano ang differential ng tangent x? 'Di ba? Ang differential niya ay secant squared x dx. Kung natatandaan niyo yung formula, so now ibalik natin, no? Ito yung i-integrate ko, no? The integral of secant squared x dx, that should be equal to tangent of x plus c. Hindi talaga kasya. Ang laki ko magsulat, no? Pawiin natin to. Ayan. Okay. So, dito meron tayong secant squared x and then dx. And then, yung integral niya, integral of secant squared x dx, ulitin lang natin, is tangent of x and then plus c. Okay? Next is the differential of the cotangent of x. Okay? So, again, that's letter C. No? Kaya dapat ang sagot ay negative, no? Kung ang tangent ay secant squared, ang cotangent naman ay cosecant squared x and then dx. So, ibalik natin, no? Ito naman kukunan natin ang integral, no? The integral of cosecant squared x dx should be, so dito negative, pero yung kinuhanan natin ng integral dito ay positive. So dapat yung sagot natin negative din, no? Negative of cotangent x and then plus c. Instead of positive cotangent, negative cotangent. Bakit po? Kasi ang in-integrate natin ay positive, not negative. No? Pero kung gusto mo naman, kung ito ay negative, no? Negative dito, di ang sagot mo ay positive. Okay? Pero positive yung sagot, in-integrate natin, kaya dapat ang sagot ay negative. Okay? Now, after that, what is the derivative or the differential of secant x? Ayan, mahaba-haba yan, no? Kung natatandaan po natin, ano ang differential ng secant x? That is secant x, tangent x, and then dx. Okay? So, ibalik natin, no? Ito naman yung i-integrate natin, the integral of, pangit yung integral sign ko. Ulitin natin. The integral of secant x, and then tangent x dx, it should be equal to secant of x and then plus c. Okay? So, that's it. Dali lang, di ba? Kabaliktaran lang ng derivatives. And then, siguro naman, alam nyo na yung next formula na aking ipepresent, no? Kung ito ay secant, ang sunod naman ay differential ng cosecant x. So, letter C uli. Kaya dapat dito negative, no? Cosecant x and then cotangent x dx. Okay? So, kung ibabalik natin yan, ano naman yung integral ng dito na lang sa baba. Ano naman yung integral ng cosecant x and then cotangent x dx. Okay? So, dito negative, pero ito positive. So, dapat dito ang sagot natin ay negative. Negative of cosecant x and then plus c. Okay? So, meron na tayo ngayong 8 formulas. No? Okay? So, for this slide, secant squared x dx, tangent x yan. Integral ng cosecant, no? That's negative cotangent. Next, integral ng secant tangent. Secant, integral ng cosecant cotangent is negative cosecant. Okay? Now, punta tayo sa next slide para sa last 2 formulas na ipepresent ko sa episode na ito. No? So, the next formula is the ano ang derivative ng exponential function? No? What is d of e raised to x? O, di ba yun yung pinakamadali? Bakit? kapag ang exponential function na e to the x ay dinifferentiate mo, ang sagot na makukuha mo ay yun pa rin, e to the x dx. So kung ibabalik natin yan using the opposite process which is integration, no? The integral of e to the x dx should be e raised to x. Of course, because that's an indefinite integral, maglalagay tayo ng plus c. Okay? Now, finally, last formula na po, no? D of ln x, the natural logarithm of x. Now, ano ang derivative ng ln x? Di ba 1 over x? So, if that's a differential, that will be 1 over x dx. Okay? Now, if we integrate this function, then we should get this, okay? Because integration is the reverse process of differentiation. So that's dx over x equals ln of x and then plus c. Okay? So dapat po dito yung x natin ay hindi mag-0. Okay? X here should not be equal to 0. Okay? Why? Because if this x becomes 0, lagay natin dito ha, x should not be equal to 0. Why? Because if x becomes 0, then this term becomes undefined. No? And let's make this clearer. This should be absolute value. Why? Because the domain of ln is positive numbers. No? Kapag kumuha kasi tayo ng ln ng something na negative, yun ay magiging complex valued. No? So para ito ay real valued function, kinakailangan ang kukunan natin ng ln ay positive. That's why, to ensure that it's positive, we get the absolute value of x. So in case that x is negative, if we get the absolute value still, we will get positive and ln of positive is valid. Okay? So now, nakasampu na tayong formulas. So, dahil nakasampu na tayo, isummarize natin ang mga formulas na ating na-present tonight. Tonight talaga kasi gabi ngayon. Okay? So, ano na yung summary? First, no? The integral of a constant, no, is equal to ax and then plus c. Okay? Ax plus c. Yung a dito constant. And then the integration of powers, integral of power function x to the n. So that's x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c. No? Kung saan ang n ay hindi pwedeng equal sa negative 1. No? Kasi kapag ito naging negative 1, no, magiging ganito siya, dx over x. Okay? And that's a special case. No? Kaya po hindi pwede na ang n ay negative 1 dito sa x to the n, because if that n becomes negative 1, that x to the negative 1 is 1 over x. And the integral of dx over x is ln of x. Of course, plus c, because indefinite siya. Next is the integral of the exponential function e to the x dx. So we have e to the x plus c. No? And next is the integral of the cosine function, cosine x dx. So we have positive sine x. Next, integral naman ng sine, dapat negative cosine yun. Yan, integral ng sine x, negative cosine x. Next, secant squared, no? Ano nga integral ng secant squared? Tangent, no? Tapos cosecant squared, no? Negative cotangent naman 'yon. Next is secant tangent, no? Integral ng secant tangent, secant lang 'yon. And then integral ng cosecant cotangent is negative cosecant x plus c. Okay? So, guys, no, my dear students and learners of integral calculus, these are the most important formulas, no, of integration that you need to know. Kinakailangan you know these formulas by heart. No? So, kung yan ay table, ito tinatawag natin na table of integrals. Okay? So, yung ibang mga formulas, pwedeng i-derive na lang natin in some other episodes. Okay? So, I hope that you will find time to memorize these formulas, no? Hindi lamang sa ulo, you should know them by heart so that the next topics that we'll be discussing would be easier for you. Okay? Kinakailangan kasi, pag ikaw ay nag-integrate ng iba't ibang klaseng functions, familiar ka sa mga formulas na ito. Okay? Kinakailangan familiar ka. Bakit? Kasi pag nag-i-integrate ka, kinakailangan yung given ay kamukha ng mga formula na ito para ma-integrate mo siya. No? So kung hindi siya kamukha, gagawan mo ng paraan para maging kamukha, no, ng mga formulas na ito yung given, no? And that will be our next topic in the next episode, no? Kapag yung given function ay hindi eksaktong kamukha ng mga formulas na inaral natin ngayon, gagamit tayo ng tinatawag na substitution method, no? And that will be discussed in the next video. Okay? So that would be all for now, and bye. See you in my next episode.